Welcome one and all to another edition of the Defo Show with Lubie here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, brought to you by Water Cleanup of Florida. This is the time of year that our homes and offices aren't so happy with the weather or the rains that just come out of nowhere and hammer us, but they are not worried, just like you should not be worried, because Water Cleanup of Florida is there to help you with any water issues or fire issues. Water Cleanup of Florida is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. 954-579-0356. 954-579-0356. Again, they are not only fantastic at communication, they're great at getting the job done with well over 60 years of combined experience between Michael, Robert, George, their entire team. They will get out there and they will fix whatever you have wrong with your home or office. But another feature that I do love, because they have licensed, certified, insured contractors, they'll make it look brand new. One place will do everything you need, and that's not always the case. And they'll do it simple, and they'll do it streamlined, and they'll be efficient, which means they'll be pretty quick. 954-579-0356 for Water Cleanup of Florida. Hit them up, or check out their website, wcufl.com. They're all over the social media world as well, at Water Cleanup FL. Believe me, what my wife and I needed their services, and we were grateful for everything they did. They will do the same thing for you. Water Cleanup of Florida. If you have the schmutz, believe me, they have the guts. Miami Heat have been gutsy down here in South Florida for a long time. It's now turned into their summer league program, as they just were summer league champions. Really deep, fun roster, full of NBA talent that a lot will be on the Heat and some will be elsewhere. We talked with the one and only Mr. 5 Reasons Sports himself, Ethan Scoop Skolnick, as we call him, about the Summer League team and some other things, NBA, and a little bit of Olympics, right here, the Defo Show with Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
We are going to be joined here in just a couple of seconds by the great Ethan Scoop Skolnick, 5 Reasons Sports Network, where we sometimes post material, and always happy to get a good response to that. In fact, our most appreciated and most watched 5 Reasons entries, usually, and it's interesting, involve our interviews with Scoop Skolnick, who owns the network and appears on, I would imagine, any number of shows.
He appears on a lot of shows. I feel bad when we not waste his time, use his time to join us, but we always enjoy talking to him, so it is what it is.
Well, we need the numbers, so why not put the man on? I mean, it's
honestly,
like...
it does boost our numbers.
Barstool putting Portnoy on to review a pizza parlor. I mean, of course, it's going to generate numerology for even the lamest of shows. So hopefully we'll be able to... do we have the scooper with us via phone here, Lubie?
Yes.
Oh, he is. Okay, great. Let's introduce him. And unfortunately, couldn't do the video today. Had something pop up there at the house, but we welcome to the show from 5 Reasons Sports Network, the founder, the CEO, and the omnipresent reporter, Ethan Scoop Skolnick. Scoop, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. You know, aren't people supposed to leave Florida during the summer?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a torch field out there. It's unbelievable.
It's just as bad traffic.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's like playing a game of Frogger. Good to talk to you guys. I'm always happy to join.
Good morning.
Good. Okay. Because yeah,
Lubie's misrepresenting. No. I'm good to join. I just wasn't. I have to drop my dad. I can't. We're on the road.
Well, and it's always good having you on because you do cover all bases there with 5 Reasons, but there's nobody that is more Heat-centric, and we've put you up there in the same pedestal as one Ira Winderman. And I don't know, you know what, if I had to vote today, and I love Winderman, except the fact that he's blind when it comes to his tennis calls, but he has a pretty good vision for what's going on with the Miami Heat, having been there since day number 1. But I think overall basketball knowledge, Scoop, I don't know that anybody has impressed me more over the years than you have. So it's good to have you on the program here. Now, we love the fact that you had degenerated to the point where you had gone even beneath the lowest of barometers that we set on the program here, and you were betting over under point totals on Larson, Al Larson of the Miami Heat in their opening summer league game, where you have no idea what the fuck's going to happen. You might have been onto something, though, Scoop. I mean, are we getting a little carried away in attaching meaning to this summer league championship? Because I thought Ware was great. This Larson guy, people are touting, and there were other players there that looked like they could be contributing pros. No.
Yeah, no, I mean, we said before the summer league started, I thought it was probably their best team that they put together, maybe since the one with Herro and Nunn and Duncan, which was, I guess, 2019. But actually, this one turned out to be better because it's a combination not just of draft picks, but also of the undrafted. And I think it kind of shows at this point that that part of the Heat organization is probably operating at its highest level. And by that, I mean the kind of the talent identification out of college and then development along with it. Adam Simon and his group, they're on a really, really good run. I mean, we had said after last year and some of the two ways, and then again losing Strus and Vincent, and then this year we thought they'd lose either Martin or Highsmith, maybe both. They ended up losing Martin. Of course, the circumstances with that, were mostly agent related, but that they needed to replenish the system, and they have. And again, it's not just Ware and Larson. The thing with Larson is it's really two different situations. With Ware, the talent is obvious. They took an upside swing. We talked about it after the draft. They took an upside swing, which they don't always do, and they're going to try to coach the other things up. And I think there's some work that he's going to have to do in training camp to prove he can be on the floor. The numbers are nice, but the pick and roll defense, the screen setting, these are the kinds of things that Spo is going to evaluate on how many minutes he can give him. But definitely the talent is there, and it's a worthwhile project for them. Larson's a little different because Larson seems ready to play right away. And the thing that was happening with Larson was I was hearing about how well he was playing in practice and how impressed coaches were with him, but he wasn't really shooting well. And that's, one of the primary skills that he brings. And so it wasn't really translating much to the games. But as the games continued and he got more comfortable, that started to come around too. It's crazy to say that. I'm not just saying because it's a white European, but I mean, some of his stuff reminds me of Goran, honestly. He's not a point guard, but the body control, even the last shot he hit reminded me of something Goran would have done. So they've got an interesting player there, and that doesn't even include Keshad Johnson, who we had on the podcast, who they really like, who's going to play this year. It's kind of a glue guy, and then also, I think they're going to give two ways to Isaiah Stevens and Josh Christopher, and they got to make decisions on Caleb Daniels and Alonzo Williams as well, and then Zion Pullen wasn't bad either. So they're really stocked there, and honestly, they don't have enough slots for these guys.
Well, and it's interesting because, look, I always, being as an NBA fan as I am, I keep an eye on the Summer League. But I found myself this time around, like, appointment watching because the team was really freaking good. And to me, like you said, they're not going to keep all the guys. Ware will be on the team, Larson as a draft pick, and Johnson as an undrafted free agent even before Summer League. Feels like they already have spots. But when you watch Christopher, the dude was hitting 5 to 7 threes every game. And he was hitting them at big moments. And he was also playing defense, and he was also getting to the basket, and he was also, whenever they talked to him, very humble, a guy that had been there before and been trying to break through, and it seems like he's learned something. When you watch Williams, a super athletic guy who can also hit the three, Swider, I don't think he'll make it, but he's a guy that looks like he has NBA three-point specialist right on him. Right. He looks like Hauser. I mean, they kept comparing him to Hauser. He looks like he's a little bit more athletic, actually, than Hauser. The Isaiah kid, who was the point guard, that I know there's no room for him, but I know Brady Hawk is a huge fan, and I can't lie. He is a playmaker who can also hit threes. Like, they're not going to keep all these guys, but usually you'll watch their Summer League teams or other Summer League teams, and there's like two dudes that'll make an NBA, like the Drew Smith, right, who is another guy that's been hanging around, who'll make a roster two ways, but he's not going to play a lot. To me, that team had 7 dudes, when you include Ware and Larson and Johnson, that will be on NBA rosters and will get NBA minutes. I think the Heat will keep 4 or 5 of them, but it's rare to see a Summer League team look like that. Like, it didn't look like a bunch of dudes at the park. Like, it looked like an NBA roster, and it was actually pretty impressive to watch.
Well, I was joking. My friend asked me, he's like, if you put Jaquez on that team, which again, he was there for 2 games.
Yeah.
If you put Jaquez on that team, does that team win more than 20 games in the NBA? And I'm like, maybe. Probably, actually. That's probably better than Detroit. I think you're right. I think some of these guys are going to end up on other teams. That's the unfortunate part of it. I mean, it's not like baseball, you can stash them in the minors. I mean, the Heat fought for that third two-way spot, a couple of years ago. They were one of the teams that pushed for it. Spo was very happy about that. So, at least that's worked out where there's a little bit more where there's a little bit more space there. Drew Smith is the one that's kind of the sore spot with Heat fans. He's a SPO favorite. He's coming off an injury. Doesn't really do anything offensively that flashy. Pretty good defender. I have a hard time seeing them keeping him over Isaiah Stevens, honestly, after we saw the way that Isaiah Stevens ran a team. I mean, right now they got Pullen on one of the two ways. I think Stevens will take his, but I don't know why you need Drew Smith to take the other one if you're going to keep the point guard. I would keep Josh Christopher as the third. And then, you're probably going to lose Alondas Williams and Swider, honestly. I like Alondas a lot. I think he's clear talent. The problem is when the Heat look at these guys, it's, okay, how do they fit around? What's the role they're going to fit around?
Yep.
Right? And so I think they can take one upside swing maybe in Christopher and try to get him to be more of a 3-and-D guy. Williams is a guy who seems to be like he needs the ball in his hands. Like, I hate to say it, like Alondas Williams is going to lead an overseas team in scoring.
Yep.
Feels a little bit to me like Kendrick Nunn, to be honest. So I don't know if they keep him, even though I know that they really liked him last year and they saw him moving ahead. Swider, to me, you mentioned Hauser. The problem with Swider is I just like people compare him to Duncan. Duncan had more tools, I thought, to work with defensively than Swider does. Swider to me he's too stiff. I don't know. I don't know if you can keep him on an NBA floor defensively. That would be my question. But is he a shooter? Yes, absolutely. And some teams are going to take another shot.
The great Scoop Skolnick. I know you only have about a minute to go here, and you have to go venture off into another endeavor. But quick thought on the Olympic team: how the fuck are we losing? Or coming close to losing? I'm looking at LeBron saving the day here at 50 years old.
Why does LeBron have to save them?
My God, they have an all-star team of the top NBA players. Now, you can't tell me that the rest of the world has caught up with these guys. What's going on there, Scoop? If you can capsulize it real quickly.
It is crazy that they got this 40-year-old who has to save them. I'll say this: I don't like the team that much that they put together. I like parts of it. This idea that they're equivalent to the Dream Team or the Redeem Team. I didn't think that from the start. Look, first thing, I do think they need KD because he's very good in this format. They've always needed a scorer like that. I liked what Edwards did for Team USA last year. He seems like a little bit of a weird fit on this team. Yep. And Booker doesn't provide enough for me. And then defensively, I think they're going to have some issues on the perimeter. They're going to need Bam and AD to clean up a lot of stuff. And that's why I think, first thing, Embiid doesn't belong. He's not, yes, he's the best of the bigs on this roster in the NBA. I would be playing Bam and AD ahead of him. Yep. And it feels to me like they made him some kind of a promise to start, and they're going to stick with it. But he's not right. The things he does in the NBA, the foul baiting, it just doesn't work here. And honestly, I think Bam should be starting. I'm not just homerism, but you just need a guy who doesn't need the ball. You're going to have Curry and Durant in the starting lineup. You're going to have LeBron. I'd start Drew. I think Drew to me is going to play a ton of minutes. Because, again, I don't think they can guard the perimeter. Yep. I would start Drew over Devin. And I think they're going to win it. I do. But I think they're going to lose a game along the way. I think this is going to be one of these situations where they get scared. France is dangerous. Canada is dangerous. Spain is dangerous. There's at least 4 or 5 teams. I even think Puerto Rico could give them a game in the wrong situation. And then they open with Serbia, and they're going to see Jokic and Jovic right from the start, and that's going to be fun because Jovic is going to have to guard Bam. It looks like in the matchups because it looks like Embiid will be with Jokic. So I think they win, but if you told me take the field over them, I might do it.
Wow. Imagine being the poor schmuck who had Sudan on the money line. Which had to be enormous. I don't even know if I can do the math on 44 and a hook or whatever the point spread was. But wow, how did the weights on? Scoop, I know you got to run. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much. And this should hit some really enormous numbers on your own network now that we had you on the show. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate it.
All right. Scoop Skolnick, ladies and gentlemen. Scoop knows his shit. I mean, it's one thing to be a reporter and BS your way through things. I mean, I think most talk radio hosts can do that on almost any subject.
That's what we do, yes.
Yeah. But when you get into this minutia detail, and you start talking about players like Nunn and talking about how this guy is going to do if he's the third scorer on some Turkish basketball team.
But see, that's the thing. He's not wrong.
That's fucking knowledge.
It's really good.
Yeah,
like,
that's great.
It's weird. Like this isn't me being a homer. Right? We've done shows for how long? Summer League's been around the entire time. The Heat have had interesting rookies. I've never cared about it. Even when they played well, played poor, it didn't matter. This team literally looked the way they played, and I said this the other day. I didn't think they were an NBA team. I like that someone asked him, and he was like, yeah, they probably could win 20. I don't know what they could win in an NBA season, but when you watch them play, it didn't look like Summer League. Like, they would get down in games, and it was worth it to still watch it at the end because they would then make a comeback, and then they would play defense and get stops, and it was like, you don't see teamwork like this on a Summer League team. Like, it's usually guys trying to get their numbers because they're trying to make the fucking NBA. These guys were passing it. They were playing team defense. They were rebounding late in games. I'm like, what is going on? Like, this team is really, like, the 7 guys on this team are going to be in the NBA. Like, the Heat will probably have 4 or 5 of them, but you're going to see, and that's usually not the case on a Summer League roster. It's like 1 or 2 NBA guys. Like, it was a weird team, and it was really fun
You're
to
wondering
watch.
Why the guy is out there.
Yes,
right?
you're wondering.
How shaky is his future status as an NBA player that he's out there in year number 2 or whatever, like Hawkins Jr. was.
Yeah, well, he only did
which we know that guy is a solid piece of the Heat's plan.
It was just to get him some work.
Most impressive, honestly, Lubie, and I watched the post-game interviews with these guys. I didn't see a ton of their games during. I saw portions of them, but I was watching some Summer League basketball for. Maybe I spent as much time on that as I ever have, which was 0 prior to this. But I'm always interested. Like I said, yesterday we were talking about it, where as a sports fan, you like to see, is there something coming through the system here that makes sense? But what you see, and you always hear the whole thing talked about Heat culture. And we've seen them develop guys and have players that really seem to be finished as NBA commodities.
Yes,
come back to the team, or get a rebirth on the Heat's roster, and then disappear again.
Yes,
Holy Ike Austin. What are we talking about here?
Well, no, it's and we hate the Patriots, but what they got hailed for when they were great, and it seemed like a lot like the Spurs, where it was more Brady than it was Belichick and his genius, but. They were great at finding guys to surround their main guys that could maybe not be great all around, but could do one thing very well, and they accentuated that one thing very well. And that's what the Heat have become good at, is getting the best out of players in a way that they never saw it before and really don't see it after. Just, they're great at, that's why when they lose guys, fans don't really, some of them freak out because they don't understand the Heat, but those that have followed the Heat a long time don't care. Because they're always good at that dude was random. They helped make him good, but he was random. Why can't they do it again as they've done it like 12 times before? They do it over and over again.
I mean, you can see their system though, because if you listen to the players and saw the composure that they had, and the fact that they could synthesize. I mean, you would have to think in any tryout, Lubie. I mean, you want to play team ball, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, you have to do something. If you're not any cinch to make the team, you're not a known commodity, you're trying to do something to impress.
Yes.
I mean, you almost have to take that approach. Otherwise, they're just going to cut you, and that's going to be that. So you want to do something, and the tendency would be to go ahead, maybe force a couple of shots that you otherwise wouldn't take, just to say, hey, okay, I'm in the box score at least. Or they had to notice that 3-ball out of the corner, I hit it 2 times, as opposed to maybe making a better play, but that they could synthesize that from a team concept. The way they did, it was pretty impressive. I don't know who this coach was. Was he their G League coach?
I don't know.
I mean, you're looking at a guy that's probably like 10 coaches removed from being Spoelstra.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean.
And he really had his act together, I thought. It was very, very impressive. So. Yep. You see that, and then I guess, I don't know. I mean, do other organizations tip their hand by, you see chaos when they come to these sort of things? Because you could not have had a better groomed group of players to represent your organization than the Miami Heat did in that Summer League thing.
Yep.
And, like you said, they may have actually accrued some talent. It's interesting because if you look, middle of the draft in the first round, usually, you're lucky to get somebody that actually, even makes the roster. And what have they done? They got Jaquez Jr.
Yes.
They got Bam Adebayo and your favorite Tyler Herro, all in that area.
Yes.
3 very viable NBA commodities. Although, what did we discuss that with somebody? The future of Tyler Herro, is he
talked
finito
with
now?
Scoop, and he feels like he probably is not going to be around, but they're not just going to give him away. The way they see him is not what the NBA sees him, and they're not going to just give him away. And I agree. I don't see him being on this team. I think when that's what Scoop said, it's pretty clear what he is. He misses a lot of games, whether it's injury prone or not. He's going to miss games, and he's gotten to a certain level, but he's not getting past that. When we talked to Scoop last, Scoop said that he'd have said, look, we know who he is. We know what he is. We get it. But they also do. But look, the guy's a 25-4 guy. Like, you can't just give that away for random picks because he's going to do something somewhere else. You're going to see him put up numbers. Like, the guy, it's playing time. Playing is his issue. It's not numbers.
He might benefit from being somewhere else. It's possible.
So, but the problem is
where they just want him to score, and that's all they give a shit about. And there are teams probably in that situation where they could benefit from him.
Yes.
Maybe more so than the Miami Heat.
It is always a good time talking to Ethan Scoop Skolnick, as we call him. I know you guys follow him all over the place here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. He's covered South Florida sports, literally every major team over the years. Big with the Miami Heat. Has really good connections with them and also really good opinion on the Heat. The Summer League team was really fun to watch. And Ware's the first-round pick, who, it's funny, he put up really good numbers, but Ethan brings up the Heat angle. Look, he's a first-round pick, so he'll be on the roster. How much time he'll get, he needs to be able to do the little things, and that's the one thing the Heat focus on, and it's why a lot of guys over the years who will come out of nowhere, be great, and then leave, and you don't hear from them again, because they focus on doing the job that they need you to do, wherever you are, whatever you are, whoever you are. And that's the thing with Ware, but Larson was very interesting. Johnson has an NBA body and a lot of raw talent needs to be worked on. But you saw Isaiah Stevens as a point guard was really good at facilitating, getting the offense moving and can hit a three. And you saw Josh Christopher, a guy who was really good from the three-point range, also could get to the basket, play defense, and had leadership qualities. These are things that Heat look for, and these are things that you see Summer League guys turn into NBA roster guys, turn into guys that the Heat have had play in big moments, in big games. This Summer League team season full of it. Plus, you had a guy like Alondas Williams, who may not work with the Heat, but should be on an NBA roster, and Swider, who does have his issues, as Scoop talked about. But from the three-point range, he hits with consistency enough. You would think he'd find a home somewhere in the NBA, a very strong team, a very fun team to watch, and a team that I do think will translate into the Miami Heat's regular season. We did talk about the NBA players, Americans in the Olympics. This team, what it is, it's a lot of all-stars, but it doesn't fit as well as other teams have fit, and you're seeing the world really take chunks out of it. I think they win, and I actually think they do separate themselves a little bit in the Olympics. But the way that they're put together does leave room for other teams to catch up to them, and that's what Ethan talked about, and definitely agree with that. If you want to check out more of what we have to talk about, check us out each and every morning. South Florida Live, YouTube, or Facebook, The Defo Show with Lubie. We do that starting at 8 o'clock each and every morning, Monday through Friday. We do have a national podcast where we talk sports and beyond. The Believe Network, BLEAV.com, search After Hours. And right here, our South Florida skewed content, The Defo Show with Lubie on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.